To Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I have just come to learn of that letter of 2 minutes ago. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, that letter should have been copied to me as the leader of minority. The cabinet secretary must be reminded that in this house, the order of precedence is such that after the speaker and the leader of majority, it is the leader of minority. And anything transacted in this house belongs to the house, not to the coalition of majority or minority. That is one. Two, I want to advise the minister to be a good student of history. When you hear Honorable Kimani Ichungwa, Honorable Senator Sirarigei, Honorable Deputy Speaker Gladys Boss speak in the manner they spoke, you should take notice. Because it reminds me of, I think, in 1989, when a similar narrative started here by the late Honorable Mwenje against the then Vice President Josephat Njuguna Karanja. We all know what happened in the end. But on a more serious note, this house can choose to transact its business in the manner it deems fit. It is not for anybody else to direct it how to go about transacting its business, including the business of inviting people to this house. Under Article 95, I think, Article 2, this house has got the mandate to deal with issues concerning the people, issues of concern to the country. And there is no greater issue that is of concern to the country than the plight of sportsmen and women. And therefore, this house is in order to raise those queries that it raised in the manner it did. And therefore, I would want to ask you, Mr. Speaker, that even before we go to the issues, the substantive questions, the matter of this letter needs to be addressed. Yes, by way of you making a pronouncement, where this is the way we shall be proceeding in this house. You know, as a coalition, we have got issues with ministers coming here. I'm sure you know that, Honorable Speaker. But even as they come, we must set the record straight on how they are going to engage with this house and how they are going to treat issues that emanate from this house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, anything that is pronounced on the floor of this house does not really belong to the person making the pronouncement. It is the house. And if the leader of majority or leader of minority or any other member raises an issue on the floor of this house, it ceases being their issue. It ceases being their personal issue. It becomes an issue of the house and for the house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Honorable, 1 minute only, Kajwang, then I give direction.
Mr. Speaker, when matters such as this arise, probably it is good enough that a few members who have been around may also share their sentiments. Mr. Speaker, with all that the majority leader and the minority leader has said, I want to take a different tangent. I think that there is a disorder in the house. Right now, there is disorder in the house. And until that disorder has been solved, the house is unable to conduct further business. I'm talking about the sanctity, the dignity, the respectability of this house. To find, when we changed the standing orders, to allow cabinet secretaries and other people that could be invited to this house to deal with us in terms of statements, we did not give them the privilege to walk into this house. They must know they are strangers. Right now, they are strangers. And at best, they can only be witnesses whom we summon from time to time in our own wisdom, and only to participate and say the things that we want them to say here. Yes. For a witness, even before appearing before us, to give us a lengthy lecture about hearsays and say that what we are doing here, we are purporting to do the things that we are doing here. We are purporting. And to allow this witness to write to the speaker, where is even the protocol of writing to the speakers of the houses? Once we have issued the summons, and the Constitution allows us that we can summon anybody, whether in plenary or in committee, to come before us. Now, how is it that a witness decides, therefore, with, raises upon a stool and decides to address the presiding officer of this house and lectures him accordingly? And visions and the culture that we should adopt when we deal with these matters.
You made your point.
Now, the last point I want to make, Mr. Speaker, sir. The last point I want to make, Mr. Speaker, since we changed the standing orders, if we allow this unaddressed, then the executive or anybody else under whom we supervise will have the latitude, because there is something called precedence. I know the witness wants us to talk about the traditions. He also knows about something called precedence. If we allow him to go with this unattended, then of course we have lost our value in holding these people to account. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that there is a disorder in the House, and until this disorder has been dealt with by getting this insubordinate witness, this very insubordinate witness, well, not hostile. Hostile will give me problems, but insubordinate to this House. That must be taken out before we can go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, order. Indeed, I found, as your speaker, the content of the letter read by the majority leader strange. And this goes, majority leader, informal cabinet ministers, that they come to answer questions guided by you as the majority leader, who is the nexus between this House and the executive, and writing to Mr. Speaker after